Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Have got a fun one today. We're going to learn how to do Bring It On Home off of Led Zeppelin II. This is a fun track to play. Pretty simple as well, so hopefully most players will be able to get a hold of it pretty quickly. And we'll be able to knock it out here pretty quickly. Before I do though, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you'll know when I release a new video. And please check out my Guitar Academy too. You'll see the link in the description below. My Guitar Academy contains all my guitar courses, covering everything from technique to improvisation, ear training, theory, guitar tone, you name it, it's there. So please go check it out. We got a great community going there, and hopefully you'll join us. And if you check it out right now, you'll get a free 7-day trial for just clicking that link. All right, so let's jump into the song. I'm in standard tuning here. And now we have this intro. I kind of skipped the intro. I'll jump to the really fun riffs. This intro, they kind of got a 145 blues standard intro here. So I'm going to kind of break this down for you real quick. It sounds a little bit like this. Now that's the E, that's kind of based off of E, and we take that up to the A. Kind of a thing right there. So I'll kind of break down where these come in, and we'll get through the intro, and then the outro is kind of similar with this cool little ending added onto it. So this opening thing that you're hearing is based off of E. So you have the low E string open with the 2nd fret on the A string. So hit that a couple times, and then move the note up on the A string up to the 4th fret. Still have the low E in there. So we have this. And then back down to the 2nd fret there on the A string. So very common little blues line. So you hit each one of those twice. Kind of a shuffle feel to it. It's not like it's kind of a little shuffle to it. Dun 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 dun. And then we have this little, which is play 3 on the low E, hammer on 4, and then over to 2 on the A string. So we have this. So he does that for quite a while just on the E. And then when Robert Plant comes in, we're going to start just kind of going through the progression. So we start on that E again when the vocals come in. Now when it gets to the line that says, "I'll take my seat," he moves this over to an A. So it's the exact same thing that we're doing right now, except everything is down 1 string. So we have the open A string, and then the 2nd fret on the D. And then you do that exact same thing. Like 4 times. And then down to the E again. So after that A 4 times, you go down to the E version of it 4 times. And then we go through the 4 and the 5 back down to the 1. Now, where you play these, you can play it here. Or you can move it up here and do it down here, which is a little bit easier to play. And I think definitely at the end of the song, at least, he's playing it up here because you hear sliding down to that E. So we might as well play them up here because it's most likely where he's playing it, and he's definitely where he's playing it later on at the end of the song. So basically this B then, after you've done that, when you've gotten to that A, at that line where it says, "I'll take my seat," he does the A 4 times version of that lick, and then the down on the E 4 times. And then we take it up to this B. So we go up to here to the 7th fret off the low E, the 9th fret on the A, and you just basically do this. You You play that, hit that twice, and then move the note on the A string up to the 11. Sure. Do that a couple times, and then same thing, 2 frets lower. So it's just like doing this, but over here. And then we're back to the E. And then it goes through those again. And that time when you get down to the E, when it's going into the full band's about to kick in, you just hit that low E power chord. And then you are ready to rock with that really cool main riff that comes in, sounding like this. All right, so what is going on here? We actually have, it starts out as just kind of just one guitar, then a second guitar an octave higher is added to it, and then a harmony guitar is added on top of that. Live, he generally does it like this. He'll play just the lower part 4 times. I guess you can consider that twice because it's the full riff played twice. And then he'll move it up and play the harmony part. And then we're to the verse. So what's going on there? So we're just going to start here. I'm going to show you all the parts, by the way. So we have this. So it's going to start out with open A string to 2. Now, sometimes he picks these and sometimes he hammers them. So kind of mix it up, whatever you like the sound of. Pick it or hammer or kind of do a little bit of both, like hammer, then pick, whatever. So we basically have open A, hammer on 2, and then open D, hammer on 2. Or just pick them both. Then the open E string there. Then we're going to play a bend, a whole step bend. And at the second fret on the G, and then play 2, 1, 2, 1, down to 2 on the D. So like this. Again. To the bend, then release the bend. And then you start the riff over again. So you get that low E there. So that's the first time through the riff. Now the second time it starts the same, it's just the ending's a little different. So that's not going, it goes, does the bend and just go 2, 1, 2. So. All right, and that's the riff, and then you just repeat that again. Now, what you're going to hear with that is you hear that first come in. Then you hear that with it. And then he starts doubling it an octave. So you hear he comes in, at the first time you hear this is when he's doing that. It's right here at the 12th. So that bend at the 14 and then go 14, 13 a couple times. Over to 14 on the D, and then he'll hit the low E again, and then match him again. So we have this. So we had that first one, and then when he starts over and goes, he just does this up here. So it's just 12, 14, just an octave up basically, then 12, 14 on the D. Now, it sounds like he doesn't do this. I don't really feel like he does the whole thing up an octave like this. It sounds like he does more of this. He's kind of playing in unison with that hit down there. So instead of, we have, and then instead of this, we have this. So it's pretty much the same thing you did down there, just an octave higher. Like I said, the first time you hear it, it just comes in with it, and then it starts matching the whole thing. All right, so after you've done that riff all the way through 2 complete times, he does an actual harmony part, because it's a harmony line because it's not an octave. The octave is just kind of doubling. But now we have this. So like I played earlier, he plays that the second half of the riff. So he'll play the low version for a couple times and then 2 times up here. So that lick up there is hammer 2 to 3 on the, 12 to 13 on the G, and then play 12, 14 on the B. So that's kind of like maybe how you can pick it. So it's got a hammering these first 2 notes, and then pick. So we have this, and then back down to that 13 on the G. And then you do a half step bend, and then release, then 14, 12, a couple times. Resolve it down to that 13. And then repeat that, just with that same different ending. So that different ending is just that half step bend, and then play 14, 12, 14. And that's it. And then we have this. So that verse riff there is played 7 times. So he's got a lot of kind of dead hits in there, or just kind of muted strings that gives it its feel. So, but let's take a look at the actual notes first. So you're gonna slide into this 4th fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. And then you're gonna play 2nd fret on the G and the B together. And then a quick hammer from the open G onto the 1st fret. So it. Now we get to the ending of this riff, or the first ending, and the endings are the ones that are different. The first ending he plays is, now he plays it like that. It's kind of just a power chord, and when you hear the recording, he's not always hitting all 3 of those strings. Sometimes it's just like the D string only, and sometimes just the D and the A, or sometimes just the low string, because he's kind of being erratic of how many strings he's hitting. He's doing, it kind of looks like, especially when you see him play it live, he plays the whole chord form in the left hand each time, but it's just basically what the pick hits is what you get. But it's basically just a power chord. So the 3rd fret on the low E, 5 on the A, 5 on the D. But the way he plays it is he plays here, but he uses his thumb on the bottom note. So just G power chord up to the A power chord. So it's pretty much how you can hit it the same way each time or whatever, just or understand that sometimes he's not hitting all three of them of equal volume or whatever. He's just kind of messing around with it. So we have this. So that's the first ending, and then we do this again. And the second ending is, which is just bending the third fret slightly down on the low E string to the low E. So we have this. Repeat. So you see I'm doing, trying to keep the feel going. So I do that slide, and a quick little down, muted down, up. And then same thing after the little A. So you're kind of doing a muted down, up between each one of those. So the only time you don't do a muted down, up is from the last part back to the beginning. Everything else, like, or what you're doing, it goes right back to the beginning without those little muted hits. But between all the other stuff, you have two muted hits, a quick little down, up. So you're gonna do this 7 times. Now, every once in a while you hear, later on in the song, you'll hear him kind of hold that first fret a little bit longer. And maybe not do the hits and just hold that little note right there. So you will hear that a little bit later, but he's always kind of doing little variations. But that's kind of the crux of that verse riff. And then, so after doing that 7 times, it goes back to that main riff. And the same thing, the harmony lines and everything. And then into the same verse again, done 7 times. And then we get the main ending again, the main riff again. But he throws a chord at the end here. Basically, you're repeating that riff, but add an A major chord at the end of it here, and then that takes us back to the blues outro. Now, this blues outro is kind of a stripped down version of the intro, really. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the one up here at the B, down to the A. So basically, there's this cool little lick I'll show you in a second. So it just starts with that same figure that we did earlier. When I went to the B, down to the A. And when you get to the E, you just start doing that kind of familiar riff that we did earlier. Just do it once. But there's that little thing right there. You play the 4th fret there. It's basically a second time through. So the first time is just normal like this. And then the second time. So that was just starting, and then instead of doing that little hammer-on riff where you play 4th fret real quick on the A, and then up to, I'm sorry, not on the A, on the low E string, and then move up to the A note, which is at the 5th fret of the low E, and then move up to start over. So we have this. Back down from B to A. And so we're here. This is how we know he's up here. He has this little slide down to the open E power chord. And then we have this ending. So you can hybrid pick this. So what you're doing is you're holding a bar at the 9th fret across the D to the B string. And you're going to be holding the 12th fret on the high E the whole time. So you're picking with your pick, the low E string, oh, sorry, what am I saying? The D string, 9th fret, and the B string there, the 9th fret that you're doing with the bar. So you pick those two strings, and then you pick the high E string, and then back to those two 9s. So we have this. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to move the bar up to the 10th fret. So that note on top stayed at the 12th fret, and then move up to the 11th fret with the bar. And then I'm just going to switch out the bar, move everything up a fret again, but it's going to be 12th on the D, 12th on the B, and that 12 on the high E. I kind of strum across them to play them all at the same time, so we have this. Then hit the open E string, low E string, and then this E dominant 7 chord, which is going to be the 2nd fret on the D, 1st fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B, open high E. So after you slide down, hit that open E, and as that's ringing, strum across those 4 strings. All right, so they brought it on home on this one at the end of Led Zeppelin II. It's really cool. It's really cool dynamics, and when the band kicks in, it's some of the funnest riffs that I think Jimmy Page played. It's a really fun song to play. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.